Welcome to Dig Deep, the mining podcast. In this podcast, we go deep into mining news, hot topics, and live interviews with mining professionals and leading figures in the mining industry. Introducing your host, Rob Tyson, founder and director of Mining International and Mining International Executive, a leading global mining recruitment and headhunting agency.
Hi, mining community. Welcome back to another episode of the Dig Deep, the mining podcast. And today's guest is Santiago Montt, who's the CEO of Los Andes Copper, who is focused on developing its 100% owned Tier 1 Vizcachitas copper-molybdenum porphyry project in Chile. Vizcachitas is one of the largest advanced copper deposits in the Americas. Santiago's a seasoned mining executive with over a decade of experience in multinational mining companies. Before joining Los Andes, he spent more than 10 years at BHP, where he held various senior roles overseeing corporate and legal affairs across the Americas, including Chile, Brazil, and Australia. He's going to give us an overview of Los Angeles, obviously of the project that they're working on, what the future looks like, and talk about copper and what's happening in the copper market at the moment. And obviously with the tariffs that are going on, there's obviously a lot to talk about. I want to give out a shout out to our sponsors, Hawcroft, who are leaders in property risk management in the mining industry since 1992. They offer insurance risk surveys, construction risk reviews, asset criticality assessments, and more. Working across 600 sites globally, Hawcroft supports all areas and disciplines of mining, minerals, and resources. So if you're looking for any property or insurance risk management services, then please visit their website at www.hawcroft.com. All the details are in our show notes. Santiago, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
Good morning, Rob. Very well. And you? And of course, many thanks for having us today in your program. It's really a great pleasure and honor to be here.
Yeah, no worries. And I appreciate your time. And as we always start these podcasts off, I just wonder if you just tell us a little bit about yourself, about your career. Obviously, as I mentioned in the introduction, you were with BHP for 10 years. So you would obviously learnt a lot working for obviously one of the biggest miners in the world. So I just wonder if you can just tell the audience a little bit about your career, how your career's developed, probably since from when you graduated to sort of present day.
Sure. Well, I'm a lawyer by background, by trade. I studied law here in Chile. I then studied also law in the US. I did my master's and doctoral degrees in Yale and Princeton. So I had and I continue to have an academic career. I'm a law professor at the same time. After working as a lawyer in Chile and in the US, I joined BHP in early 2011. I joined as the VP legal for, at the time it was organized on a commodity based. So I was the VP for legal for copper. I was part of the leadership team of copper at the time. Then I moved to Brazil after the Samarco disaster happened. So I led all the legal front of the recovery and regarding the Samarco. That was a dam break, if you recall, in 2015. So I led all the legal and corporate affairs dimensions of BHP in Brazil at the time. I moved to Brazil, lived a couple of years there. Then I moved to Melbourne, so I worked 1 year as VP litigation for the group. I was a VP litigation. And then I moved back to Chile for the role of VP Corporate Affairs for the Americas. So I have a big area. We cover all the Americas: the U.S., Canada, Mexico, Brazil, Peru, and Chile. It was super exciting. BHP is a phenomenal company. I learned tons of different things there in all different aspects and dimensions. And And then I left BHP and I joined Los Andes Copper in 2022, early 2022, first as a COO and then as a CEO. And it has been a fantastic journey. The mining sector is a great industry. And of course, if you're based in Chile, it's even more exciting. So that's my career in a nutshell.
Yeah. What attracted you to Los Andes? And obviously, why did you decide to move from obviously a big major mining company to actually join a junior mining company?
Well, as all of our investors probably do, I look at the project. I look at the project, and I found it was a phenomenal project with no major obstacles. So it was a great opportunity to bring all what I have learned in BHP and being in the leadership teams of both the business and the function for more than 10 years. You really learn in things in many different areas, from safety, especially safety, risk management, and operations. So tons of learnings that I thought I was in a good position to implement, joined with the fact that when you decide to move from a major to a junior, it's a change of career. It's a change of lifestyles as well. So I was really willing to do that, to have a role with large responsibility, direct responsibility. And so instead of leading a function here, I was leading a project, and of course with more direct. I would call it direct action. Whatever you decide or you do, it gets fastly implemented. So that was the decisions to move, and the great fit, no, because I had all this knowledge that I could accumulate in my years at BHP. I think it was a great fit for Los Andes also, that I could brings that experience and put it in practice at the company.
Yeah. And I suppose following on from that, what kind of experience or what kind of attributes do you need for anyone, no matter what discipline that you work in? If you're moving from a big company where obviously you've got big teams, if you want something done, then maybe you can pass that on to someone else to do, to them working for a junior miner when you're having to do everything yourself. What kind of skills would you say and attributes would you need for someone to work from a bigger company to then move to a junior company? Because it's not for everyone.
Yeah, it's not, as you say, it's not for everyone. It's different. It's different lifestyles in a large organization. You have a larger organizational functions to do. So you play a role in the group. In a junior company, is just you and your team that surrounds you, solving direct, real problems in life all day long. So you need to have a certain appetite for direct problem solving, and the risk profile is different as well. When you're in a large company, of course, you're in a large transatlantic that moves with a stability at a certain speed. In a smaller organization, that is different as well, of course. So that requires also different appetite to work and deal with risk, but essentially also a certain appetite to return to work directly with real direct challenges, as opposed to large organizational challenges. That's a little bit of a mix, but in the end, it's still mining. So the challenges continue to be more or less the same. It's probably the way you work on those challenges that changes. But the challenges of our industry are common across the industry, at least in jurisdictions like Chile and in the Americas, which are particularly in Chile.
Yeah. Wonder if you can just give us an overview and the history and background of Los Andes Copper.
Sure. So Los Andes Copper, we have been speaking, we are a mining company that owns the Vizcachitas project. The Vizcachitas project is a copper moly project based in Chile. Chile is a consolidated mining jurisdiction, as your audience, of course, should know. Chile is the #1 producer of copper in the world, #1 in terms also, first position in terms of reserves and resources. So we're a copper moly project based in center Chile. So we're essentially a couple of hours from our office in Santiago. We are a large deposit. I will tell you immediately the size of our resource, but it's a big resource. Our annual production, as per our PFS, is 183,000 tons of fine copper for the first 8 years, and 150,000 for the life of mine in the PFS, which is 26 years. We're an open pit. This is the fifth region in Chile. The fifth region is a developed region in Chile. So that means that there's significant density in terms of infrastructure, highways, energy lines, railway lines. So that is an important factor, because allows our project to sort of be less intensive in capital, as opposed to other projects that are implemented in the north of Chile, in which you have to do everything. So every line, every road, etc., needs to be developed. Here, this is a developed area. We are not, very important here, we're not owned by any major. There's no major mining company that owns any part of our shareholders base, and we are free of any complex commercial entanglements like offtakes or things alike. So that a little bit about us. Then in terms of our resource, we have an 11 billion pounds of reserves. So we're talking about a large resource. We have 15 billion pounds of measured and indicated resources, and also 15 billion pounds of inferred resources. So again, we're talking a very big asset, and very important. Our asset is open to the east, to the west, and in depth. So this is the numbers I just gave you, is what we have today based on the information we publish in our PFS, with all the restrictions of the NI 43-101. But it's open. So further drilling will prove that it's larger. The economics are quite robust as well. Our NPV is 2.8 billion. Discounted at 8%, IRR 24%. The C1 cost for the first 8 years is 0.93, so it's a very competitive project. Payback of this is a 2.4 billion capex, initial capex project. Payback for that is 2.5 years. And in terms of sensibility towards price, each 25% in copper price, and sorry, the numbers I gave you are based in a long-term price of copper at the time of the PFS that was 3.68. So the sensibility on top of that is more or less $500 million each 25 cents of copper price. So again, this is a large project. It's a large resource, super attractive in terms of its economics, and based in the #1 jurisdiction, copper jurisdiction in the world, which is Chile.
Yeah, Chile is a large mining jurisdiction, as you mentioned, with obviously significant mines in production and many deposits with high potential. What makes Vizcachitas project stand out? And I suppose, why are you excited with the project?
Well, as you say, first is because of the jurisdiction we're based. This is super important in mining. No, the jurisdiction, Chile is a proven jurisdiction, #1 copper producer in the world. Chile knows how to do mining in terms of its institutional behavior as a country. No, it has solid institutions, solid mining property. In terms of its people, there's people in Chile that know how to do mining. as opposed to other jurisdiction in which you would have to sort of bring people from other places. Chile is a mining country with a mining culture. Then, as mentioned, this is a large deposit, not owned by any major, no complex commercial entanglements. So given the appetite that the world has and the major mining company has towards copper, we're talking about a phenomenal deposit in the best possible jurisdiction. And again, the energy transition will bring a lot of new demands towards copper. So we are here very well placed to take advantage of that.
You recently announced the expansion of a land package with the project. I just wonder if you can just tell us what that means for Vizcachitas.
Sure, we already have a large land area of mining property, and this is very important for us because you want to have a sufficiently large area that covers, of course, a lot of prospective points and places, but also a large area that provides the project with sufficient flexibility and lack of any sort of obstacles so that it can decide on its layout. The good news is that we have added new 25 square kilometers to our area, to our sort of property area, which exactly achieve that. So we have added a couple of areas that have very interesting upside in terms of its anomalies and its geology, and also because it provides even more flexibility and give us a more comfortable land package in terms of the development of the project. So very good news. We have now 474 kilometers square for the whole project, and including, as said, these new prospective areas, which are quite interesting. That could be a great fit to complement and supplement the Vizcachitas project itself.
What are the future plans for the Vizcachitas project? And also, is Los Andes looking to diverse its portfolio over the coming years?
First, the Vizcachitas project itself is now fully consolidated and fully developed at the pre-feasibility phase. We have demonstrated value. We did all the work we needed to do. I think the value is there. We have proven it. It's as we have spoken, is a phenomenal asset, and we're very excited about that. Now, as said, we have 474 kilometers squares of property. And our property also have other very interesting areas in terms of anomalies and other superficial characteristics that now we have decided to start to also explore. So this year we're paying much attention, because in the past we're really focused on the Vizcachitas project. Now we have decided also to do some initial geological analysis of these anomalies, and we're again very excited about that, because this is an area which is this is a Miocene belt in Chile, which is a highly prospective area. So again, these anomalies could bring a lot of potential and upside to Los Andes copper. So that will require, and we will provide our focus and attention to these anomalies in this current calendar year. In addition to that, which is very important, and this is very significant area that I bring to the company, is a sort of social value and stakeholder engagement. So we have. The company have been doing a lot of work in this area, and since I joined now 3 years ago, we have been also putting a lot of effort into increasing and building trust and connection with the community. We have developed very interesting programs with the community. We have a flagship female entrepreneurs program. We work with the social organizations. We have starting to develop a very interesting also program in terms of education and starting to prepare the educational institutions of the region and of the valley to prepare for the challenge that a new operations will bring, of course, and prepare. You have time to prepare the people so that the opportunities stay in the region as much as possible. Last year was a very exciting year for us in terms of community development. We did a door-to-door program. So we prepared a beautiful video that you can find in our Chilean website, which is mineravizcachitas.cl. That is a beautiful video that explains the project to the community. So we have teams that were sort of going around in the community, door to door, house to house, to explain exactly how the project works and how doing mining in the 21st century is sustainable. It can be done in a sustainable way, so that you can not only bring socioeconomic value, which is sort of the traditional aspect of mining, jobs and taxes and the sort of economic part of the equation, but also you can do it in a way that brings that minimizes impact on the environment, and also that brings environmental value to the community. And in that aspect, we're working with communities that own significant parcels of land in this valley, and this is because of the history of this region. So that we work with them, identifying potential projects to increase the environmental value of their property in terms of conservation, and then doing also in the future preparing for doing compensation or offset measures in their property, connecting the impacts of the project to benefits to the community. So we're also super excited about those projects. So again, we have the Vizcachitas value consolidated. We have these anomalies and these new prospective areas within our land that we are exploring, and also at the same time being super disciplined and focused in increasing the social value and the trust and engagement with the community.
Yeah, that's good to hear. With a limited number of obviously copper projects in the global pipeline, how do you envisage the industry obviously matching the forecast demand for copper in the long term?
Well, copper is an exciting commodity, and everybody's excited. You talk to any major mining company, they're all bully. They're all super bully about copper. They're all looking for copper. Copper, to the extent the world will move out of oil and gas. This is the energy transition to electricity. Electricity requires copper, and everybody's super excited with copper. And we know there is this gap between supply and demand. There are different estimations, but it's around many people talk about 10 million more tons of copper for 2035 to cover this gap. And first is Chile. Chile is a phenomenal copper jurisdiction. We have the institutions, we have the people. So I think this is a great. I'm Chilean. I'm very excited about this. This is great news for the country. Mining was super important in the 2000s, in that decade, in terms of giving the whole country a big boost in terms of development. I think there's a new phenomenal opportunity for the country, together with the mining industry and the copper industry. Remember that Chile already passed a royalty law that was very contagious at the time, because it was certain exercises were quite high, but in the end the law it was the outcome of a negotiation, and that provided Chile stability, in which the government is a big partner of any copper project. So that was already decided in Chile. Now is fixed. So great opportunity for the country, which is a big partner in terms of taxes. Again, we're number one. We know how to do this. We're well prepared, so that the country should be prepared to keep the 20% that has in the global production, at least, if not even increase that. And the interesting thing is that in Vizcachitas, we want to be part of that sort of regional opportunity for the country, and be part of that regional opportunity, because to cover that gap, it's not only about brownfield, it's also about greenfields. So our project, and we're working for that to be part of that greenfield projects that will get implemented and get into production to cover that 10 million that we're talking about.
You've worked across Brazil, Australia, and the US. How have these diverse environments influenced your approach to obviously managing the projects and eventual operation in Chile?
Well, the mining, especially major mining companies, they work with uniform standards, no, and they do a great effort to do even better than the particular rules and laws of the specific jurisdictions. I think companies, again, big companies like BHP, Rio, and others, they really work hard to do better than the minimum. So that provides you with that approach, in which it's not just about the laws. It's really complying and working with those minimums that you have set. If you wanna have if you wanna be for the long term, so that long term perspective of mining gives you that discipline to those minimums. So I've learned that, and I'm working to precisely to bring that approach and knowledge to Vizcachitas, to be prepared to be a big player, and be part of that same team capacity. Let's call it that way.
Yeah. Given the global energy transition, what role do you see copper playing? Obviously, and it's going to be playing a major part, but what role do you see copper playing over the next decade?
Well, it's a phenomenal commodity. It doesn't really have any technological risk. There's no risk of replacement. It's a fundamental element of nature. There's no better conductor, probably gold, but it's way too expensive. Aluminium, you need aluminum is in practice, unless the difference in prices is way too large, it's not really a competitor. Scrap, of course, scrap of copper is probably its biggest competitor. But again, it's a fundamental element. We're moving to decarbonize our economies. There's no replacement, and it will continue to be there. An electric car uses, I don't know, like 3 times or even 4 times more copper than a normal car. So our iPhones, all of our appliances, and it's not only the energy transition. It's the economic growth in general also brings more consumption of copper. So the progress in India and China will continue also to increase demand. Also, digitization of the world, data centers, all the developments associated with digitization, artificial intelligence, will also bring more demand. Copper is fundamental there as well. So again, and this is very interesting for a small country like Chile, that by producing this commodity, you can really contribute significantly to the decarbonization of the world. So it's a big role to play, not only in terms of decreasing your own emissions as a member of the global community, but also to producing this element that is fundamental for this global effort. So again, as a Chilean and as a miner, super excited for what is in here for our country, and for the. Remember that this is quite interesting. Chile doesn't have oil and gas, zero. We did significant exploration of oil and gas in the 20th century and didn't find anything. Argentina had tons of it, Brazil tons of it, Peru tons of it, Chile had none, zero. But the 21st century has given us copper, which is a super exciting commodity for this future we're talking about. So look at this, how justice, cosmic justice for the country.
Yeah, and that's a good fact. I haven't heard of that before, but no, that's an interesting fact. As you mentioned, Chile's the #1 jurisdiction for copper globally. But how are they, or how's Chile positioned to be the global supplier of copper? And what needs to happen to sort of maintain that leadership in the market?
Well, as we have mentioned, we are the #1 producer. We have been producing the last decade a little bit more than 5 million, between 5 million and 5.5 million tons of fine copper. So again, we have the largest copper operation in the world, Escondida. I think we have the third or the fourth, Coyahuasi and others. So again, we have super solid institutions. Mining property, for example, Chile is extremely robust. No administrative discretion. Is solid property. Then the biggest challenge for all jurisdictions, and we're not exempt from that, is the balance of the mining resource of the country with the protection of environment. Mining, of course, is you work at the landscape level, so there's a balance there to achieve in terms of again socioeconomic and environmental protection. But I think Chile have proven the capacity to achieve that balance, and I have no doubt that we will continue to improve there. This is a challenge everywhere, in any country, but we have done well in the past, and I'm sure that we will continue to know how to achieve the balances of the future that will be more strict in the sense that people, communities, the country in general is requiring more environmental protection from mining companies. And mining companies are really committed to be doing not only doing the best work in terms of minimizing impact and sort of reducing and your footprint, but also, as we were saying, in the space of offsets and compensation, really to start to think more sort of on a larger scale in terms of what it requires to be really sustainable. And again, in first, the efforts of the country, and second, the efforts of the industry to do better. I think that will continue to be successful in Chile, and that we will consolidate our first position as producer in the world and continue to have it. And also to bring new developments also in terms of technology and innovation in terms of improving your environmental performance.
And lastly, what's the short to medium term outlook for Los Andes Copper? And if you want to give us any final thoughts to our audience.
We will essentially what we have already spoken. So our value at Vizcachitas is there. We have proven it. We will continue to do more exploration and work on these new prospective areas that we have, especially towards the northern side of the Rosín Valley. So if you look at our property towards the east, where the Vizcachitas deposit is in the middle of that valley, the Rosín Valley that runs north-south. At the northern part of that valley, there's a lot of prospective value that we're paying much more attention. We didn't have the capacity to do it in the past. We're doing it right now, and we will continue to work on our social license creating social value, building trust with the community. That is fundamental to develop any project today in any part of the world. Chile is not an exception, so we're really working hard on that. And that's it.
Santiago, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for giving us the story behind Los Andes Copper, and obviously speaking about the copper market, and especially Chile, who is the number one jurisdiction for the commodity. If our audience wants to reach out to you, if they want to follow the story, if they've got any questions, how can they go about doing that, and what social media platform channels are you and the company on?
We're in all of them. So especially, of course, they can visit us on our website, losandescopper.com. They can email me, or they can follow. My email is santiago.montt with double T at losandescopper.com. We also are active especially in LinkedIn. So any of those would be very simple and practical.
Yeah, no worries. All those are going to be in our show notes accompanying this podcast for easy access. So, Santiago, wish you all the best for the remainder of the year. And perhaps you may want to come on the podcast next year and give us an update.
Thank you again. Thanks for having us in your program. It's a great pleasure, and hope to see you soon.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed that episode. As always, appreciate your continued support. Please keep sharing these episodes far and wide. As Santiago's just obviously spoken about copper, which is much needed for the upcoming green energy revolution, and Chile being the number one jurisdiction for copper. So please keep sharing these episodes far and wide among people within the mining industry, but also people outside of our mining industry. And until next time, happy mining.
Thank you for listening. Remember to reach out to Rob via the show notes, and be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Until next time, happy mining, helping each other to improve the mining industry.